Did you know you mentioned
goodness.
your first inversion on roller coasters or whatever? Mine was the rock and roller coaster. For the longest time, I don't know what it was. I just had this thing against roller coasters that went upside down. I was just like, I'm not really interested. But it was one of those things where a friend of mine was actually working here, and I came down to visit him, and it was just sort of assumed. He was like, all right, let's go. He worked at the tower, and so I met him when he got off work, and we went immediately over to Rock and Roller Coaster. And the whole time I was like, he had no idea that I had sort of a hang up about upside down roller coasters. And I wasn't going to say a thing about it because I was like, that's no way. I'm not saying anything about this. I'm like, dude, I'm too scared. But I was just kind of nervous, and I was like, okay. And I remember that weird sort of feeling of dread when the empty car comes around, and it's for you. you are for whom the bell tolls. And so I got in it. But when we blasted off and went upside down and all that stuff, I was like, I have been an utter fool. This is amazing. And we rode it like 600 times after that.
That's so good. I do have to be somewhat careful, but the only anxiety I have about coasters now is whether I'm going to get a little like dizzy and then nauseated from
any
it.
kind of spinny is no longer a thing my body enjoys.
And so that's why sometimes I will avoid the rock and roller coaster because it doesn't always bother me, but there's sometimes it's just because that like vestibular effect that
the rock and roller coaster doesn't do that to me because I don't think I go in the same direction enough for that to trigger. But freaking Mission Space is a no-go anymore. I mean, it's.
I've only.
I loved it.
I can count on one hand the number of times I've done it.
The G-force thing, definitely at play there. But. And I love that part. Like when you do the slingshot around the moon or whatever it is, I think that's when it really gets
it feels
going.
So good.
And I love it.
Yep.
But the spinny aspect of it, like I try not to think about it, but you can your body just knows because you can tell when it starts because your eyes will start doing that thing, and you're like, oh god, don't think
to
about
give
it.
yourself
I'm not
over
going to do
to
that.
it. It's when for me, it's when I get off. Like that's when it finishes, and then because I actually like that they have that cold air that's blowing in your face the whole time, and that's nice. That helps.
Yeah, it does help a lot. That's and the closeness of things. Like I was a little worried that I'm not one to get claustrophobic, but every now and then I'll just like the conditions will just be right or wrong, whichever.
Like when they stick you in a bag and put you in the back of a trunk, like a trunk or something.
Most of the time I get a little uncomfortable with that. Yeah.
Okay, we won't do that again then.
I think I did irreparable damage to myself regarding Mission Space because I came down here with a group of let's say like 9 people, and everybody got fast passes for Mission Space, but only 4 of us actually wanted to ride it. So and these were paper fast pass things, and this you're apparently not supposed to do, the non-transferable or whatever. But we rode it with the fast passes.
People always give fast passes away.
Of course.
And that's the nice thing to do. If you have fast passes left over, you're not going to give them to somebody on your way out of the park. You say, hey, you want some fast passes?
Yeah, and I love doing that. It was so much fun.
I don't think that's illegal. I think
we rode it and then like immediately got back in the fast pass line and rode it again. So I like 2-timed it really quick. And I was like, no, it's fine because I'm that guy. And when I got off of that, I was like, okay. That's kind of.
I think
the wishing World of Motion was still there, so I could just sit in a Omni Mover and just kind of look at the funny stuff going on for a little while. But no,
I think the way to do Mission Space Orange, which is the one that spins, because now they have green, which doesn't spin, which is kind of weird because green you'd think would be the one that spins because that's how you feel.
That's true.
But I think the way to do it would be you make it the last attraction.
Yeah, you'd have
because
to.
Then if you're not feeling well, you're just going back to your room.
Yeah, you're going back
home
there
or
anyway.
whatever.
So.
I think the worst I've ever. So as a child, I remember getting on It was pretty good as a kid. Like I get on all sorts of stuff and not have any problems. But I got on the octopus.
Yeah. Okay.
And I did not feel well after that.
Ooh.
As a
now,
kid.
Is it a particularly spinny one? I guess it is.
Octopus. Have you ever seen what I'm talking about? It's like the tentacles.
It's got the card
so the tentacles
also spins.
The tentacles spin. Right, so the contraption spins
down,
and the tentacles kind of go up and down, right? And then the vehicle you're in spins.
Yeah, I guess that could really get going. Yeah.
So now you got vertical movement as well as horizontal and the spin. Anyway, years pass and then as it was sometime within the last 10 years, we were in Ocean City, Maryland at Jolly Rogers, which incidentally, one summer in the 90s, I spent a week as a fill-in for a magic show that performed there. But anyway, that's a story for a different time.
Good question for another time.
Yeah, there it is. So we're at Jolly Rogers and they have their version of the octopus or whatever it is. And my kids want to get on it. And I guess they're too small to get on, because two boys, but maybe one of them was too small to get on by themselves, so it required anyway. Like okay, and I was like, I really don't want to do this, and they were like, oh, come on, blah blah blah. Oh, I remember the deal. Now. I remember how this happened. Oh no,
it's all coming back. Doesn't sound good.
One of my kids, I was trying to get one of my kids to go into the haunted house with me.
Ooh.
And they didn't want to do it. And I was like, here's the deal. Okay, I'll get on the octopus if you'll go in the haunted house. Right? Okay. So we get on the octopus. It was like, it wouldn't end. It was like he was being extra generous. Like, I'll let you go around extra. There's no one waiting. We'll just let you keep going. Right? And I don't know if you've ever seen that video of that like canyon rescue gone wrong, where the person is being lifted to the helicopter. They're like they have like their rescue basket, and the person's in the rescue basket, and they're lifting them up, and the thing starts spinning.
Oh yeah, I have seen.
You ever seen that?
Yeah.
It's the most people have one of two reactions to it. Either they cannot stop laughing at this poor sucker just like spinning, and the person survives. This thing stuff, right? Or they're like me, and they're like, this is like the worst nightmare ever. Just leave me in the canyon, man. Just go.
It's fine, pinned under the rock.
I'm fine. Just leave me here, please. Because here I'm that dude, in the octopus, like just spinning, and I can remember thinking, like, I don't know
how is this happening.
I don't know if I'm gonna make it. Like, I'm beginning to pray. Like,
I didn't say goodbye to my wife.
I'm finding religion in this thing. Like, oh God, please.
There are no atheists on the octopus.
Just no. That's I think there was a song. It was an Ozzy Osbourne song.
I think so. Yeah.
There was, but I'm like, please, just have this stop. And I'm like moments from like I want to yell like, okay, stop. But I don't want to be that dad who's yelling stop.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Like, you've got to.
Right?
Because how can you possibly send anybody to bed ever again? You're that guy.
Remember, Dad? Come on. Remember that one time?
Yeah, right, Dad. Okay. Remember this? Please stop. Yeah. I know. I got your number, buddy.
So they finish, and we get off, and I told them, you guys go do your thing. I'm gonna just sit here on the bench. And by sit, I meant lay. I had to lay down on the bench, and then they finally came back over to me,
hold on to keep from falling off the planet.
20 minutes later, and I remember Michelle having this kind of concerned look on her face. Now, are you okay? You're still here on the bench. What's wrong with you? And you're laying down. What's wrong with you? Pull yourself together, man.
Pull your socks up.
And I was like, okay, I think I'm okay now. But we never did the haunted house because I was feeling so bad.
Somebody jumps out to scare you, you're just gonna barf all over.
I was like, I couldn't. I was like, all I could do is like, I was well enough. I got well enough in that moment to make it back to the condo. Like, okay.
Right. I am now ambulatory, but that's as far as I can go with it.
Boy, man, the octopus. Whew. I can't believe that. That was.
Yeah, you always hear horror stories at those places, especially like carnivals and state fairs and stuff of the gravitron. You remember this thing?
Oh, I love that thing where the floor came from below you, and I love that.
Yeah,
back in the day.
I always heard horror stories about somebody throwing up on that thing and then it turning into one of those spin art things, and it's just no good. I never set foot on one of those. I was just like, because there's nowhere you can go. You can't dodge it. You're just as immobilized as they are.
It's not really going to go. You just don't want to be next to the person,
right?
Really, right? Because it's like it's not going to go far.
Well, you would hope, but
because the centrifugal force is just like. I mean, I don't think we need to describe it in great detail.
the effects of centripetal acceleration on vomit.
Oh, I shouldn't have eaten that take 5.
Here, you take a couple of these. You take 2, I'll keep the 3.
Oh, I'm taking
boy.
So I'm taking Alex to college.
Yes.
Next step. And I don't know that I don't think he quite understands what he's about to get into.
Really? In what way is he lacking in understanding?
So he's a pretty chill dude. Like he doesn't really get upset about things much.
Well, that seems a bonus.
Doesn't get into fights with his friends or arguments. Really, he doesn't. He just kind of takes. I mean, like when he was a kid, we used to say that he was an old soul, like when he was like a toddler, because he just seemed like he had been through it all before. Like
kind of got the Yoda thing going.
Like it's not a big deal, whatever. But I think that like he's just there's no level of like preparation for anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think he's really, like, I had to, like, really, it took a lot of effort to get him to start working on a list of things we need to buy when we get there, for example. Because we're not loading up a car and driving, because we're going to Bellingham, Washington.
Okay.
From Orlando. It's basically...
You can almost not go farther without leaving the country.
Right. So we're going to fly out. And, of course, I have anxiety about that, too, because of the whole COVID thing.
Yeah.
So I have to be careful. And we are going to, so we're flying out and then renting a little SUV. Cause I figure I got to buy a whole bunch of stuff of various sizes. And,
so you're exhibiting some planning tendencies here, and they're not rubbing off on the old chip off the old block there.
There's some genes you pass down and some genes you do not, and
clearly this is in the latter category.
Yeah there's must be regressive.
Well, he's relying heavy on those improv skills. Maybe he'll be an actor.
No, that's Henry is the improv guy. His younger brother's the improv guy. Anyway, I think his mindset is like it's fine.
Yeah, I'll take it as it comes. We'll see what happens.
It'll be fine. Which he's probably right. Like no one's going to die. God forbid. Right? I mean,
and I admire that to a certain extent. That's a good attitude.
Yeah, except that like up until now, and probably including now, like I've been the net. Like maybe everything works out because Dad makes it work out. Like
right, exactly.
You ever think about that? Maybe everything works out.
It hasn't been the hand of fate, exactly.
Right here. Dad has a plan all the time, including like multiple contingencies. Like maybe it's because Dad, Anyway, so we'll see. I just don't think he's thought it all through, and so it's going to be interesting. But we're going to go out there, and my biggest anxiety, honestly, is about figuring out what he needs to have,
right?
And I'm desperately afraid because I've seen the videos. What's your videos? Like people, the arrival time, like when people arrive at college, and especially nowadays. And they've got like a Sherpa, and they've got like, very complex like things to put together, and
yeah.
And then you get these things in the mail saying like, oh, have you like ordered your linen set and all this stuff? And I'm like, oh,
this is the first time hearing of this.
I don't have a duvet. No, yeah. I haven't thought of this part yet. I mean, this is a kid who doesn't wash his sheets for like 6 weeks. Like, so do I really have to worry? Fun. So, and the worst part, he doesn't have a roommate because of the whole COVID thing. Now they're not allowing for any roommates, and so he's by himself. So there's not even any social pressure to be like clean and orderly and tidy, and it's like, and it's all virtual. It's all like virtual. I mean, he has friends there already, so he'll have some social life. Thank God, because otherwise he probably would never leave his room, which would make him ultra safe.
Yeah, true.
But also probably kind of
upside, but a downside
as well. Kind of skanky, So that's where my anxiety isn't, and I have no anxiety about him going off to college. I have no anxiety about him not being home. I have no anxiety. It's all about, am I going to be the parent when we pull up, for a 30-minute window to unload?
You have a 30-minute window to unload.
We have a 30-minute window, man. It's like a military operation or something. And they test him. And at that point, apparently at that time, not only do you pull up to unload, but they also test him for COVID at the time. Yeah. So it's like he's going to get this stick shoved up his nose. That's going to be his first college experience, is having...
Welcome to college.
And he actually had to get tested today, too, because they had to get tested 5 to 7 days prior to arrival, and then you have to email your results, which doesn't seem HIPAA compliant to me, but whatever. Then you have to,
that doesn't sound right.
Email your results. Who cares about this stuff anymore?
Post it on your Facebook page.
Practically, right? Can I just get a tattoo?
Just draw a Sharpie
my neck,
on your forehead.
Little neck tattoo. Tear. So we do that, and he did that today, and then he does that when he arrives. I don't have to get tested for whatever reason, even though I'm going to be in the building,
because
coughing on people.
These policies have all been well thought out.
And then we're all masked, of course. And then I'm afraid we get out of the car, and I have I don't know, like a few bags, maybe a couple suitcases, and I'm like surrounded by people who are unloading pallets,
right,
and have mules,
and the lady that's checking you in is like, and you can take your wheelbarrow over there. I'm like, what wheelbarrow is this? What? Well, we sent you a thing. Oh, did you? Uh-oh. Is there a place
That's what
get wheelbarrows?
I'm afraid it's like, I mean, the only other time I've had this kind of experience is taking him to camp.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that
was like a couple weeks.
I remember that anxiety about getting there as the parent and looking around, like, what do all the other kids have?
Exactly. What did I miss the boat on? Everybody else somehow knows about this.
Because you don't want to be that parent who underprepares your child, right?
Yeah.
Like, you don't need any bug spray. What are you doing? But you also don't want to be the parent who, like, doesn't, but like
wraps their kid in bubble wrap.
Overdoes it, right?
Yeah.
Like, okay, now Johnny, like, here's this, and make sure you put this, and here's your little organizer station, and make sure you change your, like, you don't want to be that person.
Somebody has to be, though, because it seems like there was always that kid, no matter what year I was at camp.
I would secretly be that kid. Like, I would be like, in fact, I could totally say, like, okay, Mom, Dad, like, I got this. I'm okay. I got this. I think I mentioned this on an earlier podcast episode that, like, I was the kid who, like, I remember my dad coming to borrow like disposable razors from me.
Oh yeah,
like,
from you, yeah.
Yeah, like that was me. That's who I am. Like I would be the guy. Don't worry, I got
it's
this.
The only 10-year-old with a lawyer on retainer.
I'm fine. It's all good. I'm okay.
Covering my bases here.
Alex isn't like that. So so I have a little bit of anxiety about it's just the preparation anxiety. Really, that's all.
Well, I tell you, man, that the I can take anything as it comes attitude is pretty nice, but it's gonna be put to the test as soon as Dad gets on that plane, and suddenly you're in Washington by yourself.
I know. I mean, the thing is, he has this safety net. Like he has several friends who are there who live off campus, but they're like right there. Like, they have an apartment like right off campus, and his best friend's parents, who's also the best friend of Michelle's, like they live probably 2 hours away.
Yeah, so he's got some fallback positions.
There's a safety net there.
That's
Plus,
good.
It's plus nowadays the universities are pretty like it's not exactly the same as it used to be.
Yeah, it was like. You're talking about like these days when like you have the 30-minute window to pull up and pull all your stuff out, and you got to check in here and you got to go to station number 2 and get your whatever, and then you got to do all this stuff. I remember going to college and it being like we had to wake up the RA and like it was like there's other people moving in, but you felt like maybe
smoke,
you're the only one that's actually yeah, like hey
Cheech and Chong.
Is this even the right dorm? I don't know where I'm supposed to be. Like, I don't know, man. Can you come back later? I can't even see, man. But yeah, it was just sort of this. You were just kind of had to figure it out yourself. There were no stations. Nobody was wearing the "Welcome to College." We're here for you kind of shirt that like RAs and stuff wear.
That's the only. So the only thing I'm a little like disappointed for him about is it's not only was his end of school experience all screwed up because of the COVID, but his end of high school thing, but this experience is gonna be different too. Like they're not gonna have the rah-rah, they're not gonna have the big social functions, the crazy party kind of stuff. Like none of that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And that kind of sucks.
It does suck. I mean, and it's mitigated a little bit because he's a freshman, and I always like that first year is not as great because you're just kind of getting your feet under you and all of that stuff. So maybe if like this stuff passes on by the time he moves into his sophomore year, maybe it'll be a lot better.
But it's like those those first few weeks and months is typically when you make those like strong friendships with new people.
Is. Yeah.
And I'm like, like I remember somebody for my 1 year of law school, I was one of my best friends one of the best friends I made was I met in line for books. And he had cut line, like because we had to line up for I don't know if it was books or for registration or something. We had to line up by order of our name, and of course, so I'm in the C, and his last name is not. It starts with a C. It starts with a P. But he was in line with his roommate. Lenny, whose last name I think was like Bronstein or something like that. So he was. It's a great name, by the way. And he was
Lenny Bronstein.
Yeah, he was like right in front of me or behind me or something, and so we just struck up a conversation. In line, right? Like he's not gonna get that experience.
Yeah.
That sucks.
That does suck. Yeah.
Right?
Of course, I'll tell you the other part that sucks is that you don't have to feel like you're sort of like it was almost a point of pride that our dorm was crap, and like running down and there was a hot water pipe.
Where exactly did you go to school?
Well, I went to school in the 90s is where I went to school. Yeah. When they were still made out of cinder blocks. I feel like it looked like a bomb shelter.
I feel like you're describing something that resembles the Q2 Tower of Terror or something like.
It was a practical
Freddy Krueger's basement.
Just better music, I guess. I don't know, but the dorms were kind of ugly and
fallout shelter.
Just institutional housing, yeah. And it was kind of fun. You kind of felt like you were, I don't know, slumming it or something. I don't know. You sort of accepted it, and it was awesome. The dorms they got for the kids these days, man, they look like apartment buildings.
Yeah, that's
carpet,
true.
Like actual carpet, not carpet that you can put.
It's painted on
outside.
Is this shag or is this paint? Oh, it's just gold. The gold crayons flecking off.
The same carpet that they have at on the greens at miniature golf courses.
Well, that's something else I thought of. I wouldn't have normally thought of this thing except for this silly flyer that I got, telling me all the things that I needed to buy that I hadn't bought or even considered buying, one of which was a duvet of some sort. The other, I'm sure there's like a body pillow on there too I'm supposed to buy. But then but then also they were carpet or rugs, like area rugs and
area
things.
Rugs.
And I'm thinking, I don't know, I gotta buy a rug. Where am I gonna buy a rug? Now I gotta figure out where to buy a rug in the few days that I'm going to be there. What?
You can go to Blood Bath & Beyond.
Well, that's the other thing I'm worried about. There's Target and Bed Bath Beyond, I'm sure, and the store that will not be named that I will go only as a last resort. But I will.
I don't know which. Is this a mart of sorts?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
I do. We'll talk. We'll come back to it actually.
Yeah, that's something we probably need to address.
So I'm a little anxious about making sure we get all the stuff we need, and that there's going to be this rush. And so not only am I going to not be prepared, but then when I go out into the wilderness to collect the things that we need, I'll have missed out.
Yeah, they're out now.
Because Bellingham, the one Target in Bellingham, is only going to have, I don't know, a pink polka dot
Dragon Ball Z
hamper
throw rugs
left. Oh, you wanted a hamper? Well, here's one that's pink and has polka dots.
It is a cubic foot.
Good luck, buddy.
You can keep a pair of underwear and a pair of pants in there. Then it's time to do laundry.
And I think he's more concerned about how am I going to pack my Xbox and he wanted to ship
important stuff.
He wanted to ship his computer, and I said, dude, we're just buy you a new computer. You can't.
And I don't know that I would ever ship my computer. I know that it would not come out on the other end as the same computer.
Even if we take great care, I mean, he built this computer too. Even if we take great care, it's going to cost probably $150 to ship it properly.
True. Yeah.
And even then, there's no guarantee it's going to be all in great condition when it gets there. Do you really want, why don't we just buy a new computer? I mean, we have, it's nice that we can do that, but I didn't get him a graduation gift. So there you go.
I'm going with you to Washington. That's your present.
Congratulations. Here's your computer. And yes, good luck, buddy.
That's pretty cool that he built one though.
Well, that happened. That was 3 years ago, and we were in California, and we thought that it would be a good summer activity to support him with. So because he wasn't getting a job, so he and he wasn't doing any classes over the summer. But he said, I want to build a computer. I was like, okay, that's cool. So he got a list of all the stuff he wanted, and we ordered all the components and things, and so a ton of stuff, all these things. 6 hours later, he was finished.
Yeah.
That was it. This great, grand project that was...
Well, they come together pretty quick once you get all the stuff.
I didn't really quite realize how easy it would be to just put all... I'm like, how did you... Because I figured you'd have to figure it out, But it didn't factor in YouTube.
Right. Well, yeah, there's that.
You can't. You don't have.
And
to
honestly,
really
the only trepidation is when you're putting the CPU into the motherboard. I mean, you can goof the heck out of that processor, but other than that, everything's just kind of plug it in and go. Yeah, you got to do the thermal compound for the CPU, but the fan. I helped a friend of mine build one just about 3 weeks ago. Convinced him to build his own. Yeah,
that's cool.
Because it's so much cheaper than getting
it is. I mean, I think that's why he did it, because it was. And I
remember there's something rewarding when you get that first boot and you're like, oh, it's alive. You know, it's pretty nice.
Yeah, and you can make them right. It's cheaper and they're better because you can.
Oh yeah.
Plus, also once you put it together,
that bloatware crap that comes with computer, like desktop computer. I can't tell you the last time I bought a desktop computer from like a company,
as opposed to like a Mac or something.
Junk, yeah, like the Mac. Like I get Macs, but like a Windows machine, you know, because you get it from whatever Dell or whatever, and it's gonna come with all this just garbage on there. That's like Dell Connect, and you're like, I don't even know what this is. This
Prodigy.
This connects me to a fax machine. Do I really need that? And it's right on the desktop. They don't bury it down in the start menu. It's like right there, and it's their branded.
HP Assistant. Right. HP, like, really? Why?
HP Fun. And then, like, that's apparently like 3 really obscure and really crappy card games or something. And like, no.
I'm surprised I'm surprised my computer hasn't gotten cancer yet.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Like which one? Because the Macs are pretty.
I mean, but when you think about it, I mean, I honestly can't tell you. This is basically, from a software standpoint, the same Mac. I've been working from the same like structure, like foundation, since 2008.
Okay.
Like I haven't started clean.
I see. You just pulled it over every time you've gotten a new machine.
Every time. I migrated it every time.
Yeah.
Even when I went to a desktop, to like an iMac, and then also back to the laptop, I just migrated every time.
Wow. Okay. I do that with my phone, but I do start my computers over.
Really?
Yeah.
But then you lose all your stuff.
My phone looks like, well, I mean, I bring over like my documents folder, but I don't pull over like settings or apps or anything like that.
Then you have to set everything up again. You have to tweak everything.
Well, exactly. But that's kind of the fun part, right? Is that, you know, and also when you get a clean slate, then you only install things as you need them, but then you find out how much of your disk space was taken up by these apps you downloaded once and never used again.
But that's on a phone, I think that's true. But like on my computer, like I like there's so much is just documents and so. I mean, I don't know. I have, but the other thing, like I mean, I have documents on my computer that go back to when I had my laptop in like 1999.
I found this just the other day. I found a .wps file on my computer.
Oh, I wonder if I have one of
from
those.
Microsoft Works, not Word. Works.
I wonder if I have a WPS file on my computer. What would I search to find that? Would I search? Put
I guess
WPS
you go into
in.
Finder and then in the search thing, just do. I think you could just do .wps and it should.
Oh, you think?
Bring up stuff.
Like
I think so.
.wps?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think you have to do a type. When you have to do a type search.
Well,
like,
I don't know what type that would be, though, you know?
Oh, I see what you
mean. Kind or whatever. But
I do have a WPS file.
Hey, look at that.
I have. Oh, wow.
TextEdit will open it. Not terribly well. There'll be all kind of those little squares and stuff all over it. But
it's an abstract of some sort. Interesting. It recognizes it as a document.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool. I also have one called Briefs that's spelled incorrectly.
Oh, good.
Mm-hmm.
What, BREIFs? Briefs.
Oh, this is interesting.
That may have been why you didn't make it past your 1L.
Easy. You said it all. You said text document, and I don't choose that.
TextEdit should open it.
Choose act. Well, do I have TextEdit? There it is. Let's see.
Yeah, it comes with.
So this is a one about. Oh my goodness!
Wow!
No freaking way!
Hey!
I found. So this was titled election.wps.
Election.wps.
Oh my goodness!
Is that far back? What election are we talking about?
This document was written. It was for Poly 309A.
Junior
and
class.
It was. It's dated November 23rd, 94.
94.
Oh my goodness!
Look at that. We got our own little Al Capone's vault going on here. It'll be fun.
That's crazy. And look at me with the citations.
Hey.
Look at that. Oh, that's so weird.
They did what were the governing rules on citations? Was it AP style book, and then there was
something like that.
I can't remember the other one. Or is that's only citations for like journalism? I don't know.
Oh, it's terribly written too. I gotta close.
You pull out the red pen and.
I literally want to just
pass Jason to task on this.
I needed this. I feel like I need to start editing. Like, no.
I can't let somebody see this.
Yeah, look at all these poli-sci. Oh. Oh. I'm so glad I'm glad and also a little nervous. I found my proposal for my honors thesis. This is October 7th, 94. Oh my goodness. Do you want to know what
your thesis? Yes, I must know.
So I was always on, I'm not kidding you.
Okay.
Remember, this is 1994. So this is October 7th, 94. My honors thesis proposal was, question, do candidates on the internet, I think I meant do candidates using the internet, use this technology in traditional campaign ways, or are they expanding the traditional campaign form? Like, so I think I was looking to see, like, are they using it in novel ways? That's how I would describe it now. Like, are they using the internet to campaign in novel ways, as opposed to, are they just adapting existing? I knew what I meant. Like, are they adapting existing? You know, like, oh, instead of putting up a billboard, I'm putting up an electronic billboard. That sort of thing, right?
Yeah. I think the answer is yes.
It's both. It's right.
Yes.
yes, right. But people were. Oh, it's so funny. And the study will begin by asking how the candidates are using this new technology, what it's doing for them, and what they want. Yeah, right.
The internet. That was around the dawn of the World Wide Web. I mean, as a thing. Like, people don't realize these days that there's a difference between the internet and the World Wide Web. It's now pretty much it's all the web now, but I mean, there's all kinds of other things that Usenet, for instance. I remember spending a lot of time
on Usenet. Yeah, I think for me, the first real internet experience I had was like not like dialing into bulletin board systems or that stuff.
We can definitely talk about that.
But
300 baud.
1200 baud.
Oh yeah.
But then it was using Gopher.
Yes.
And FTP systems, and that was
definitely.
Gopher was.
I remember
really cool.
It had to have been around 93 or 94 that I downloaded my first game from the internet, and it was a
global thermonuclear war.
It was not. It was a nice game of chess. No, it was a version of. It was a parody of Mortal Kombat where it was Pong, and it was called Pong Combat. And then like it was just a Pong game.
Not Pong Bat?
No, but that would have been a better name for it. Right. But you had to have the K for combat. But it was you played Pong, and then whoever scored the last point got to do a fatality on the other Pong bar. And so it was like one would like shoot it with flames or whatever. It was really funny, but it was like 1.2 megabytes,
and it took forever, right?
I had to turn it on and start it downloading and then go to class. By the time I got in that night, it was done, and that was a little over a megabyte. It was 1.2 megs. It took ages to come down.
That was over the truly over the internet, or was it a dial-up situation?
It was a dial-up, yeah. I mean, I was in the dorm, but all we had was.
What were you connecting to? Were you connecting to
the university?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there was like a bank of 12 phone numbers, and then you just set your modem up to rotate through.
That was connected to the internet then. Yeah. Interesting.
And then that was also, we had the because you would have a Unix prompt when you would connect, and then I remember trying out the web, and you would just type www at your prompt, and it was a text-based web browser. Because, at that time, I mean, embedded graphics, that was not yet around. So it was pretty crazy.
Right. There was no HTML at that point, was there? I mean, it wasn't HTML. Was that web page in HTML?
It was through HTTP and all of the web stuff is in hypertext markup language, but it was.
But it wouldn't have been hypertext. Oh, yes, it was. You could click on it.
Yeah, because it's clicky links, right? Clicky links.
I thought you said clicky links. I thought you said clicky links. Like you're like
clicky links.
It's like WikiLeaks, but it's like they're really. Oh boy! Shouldn't even said that word. Now it's gonna get. Now the bots are gonna pick
flagged
up.
Now. Yeah. Oh, well.
Darn it!
You get the weirdest advertisements on Facebook now. But yeah, just thinking about just the command line internet that we dealt like MUDs. Did you ever play on a MUD before, a multi-user dungeon?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Those were the amount of time I spent playing those things, considering it was strictly text that I was looking at, and a black screen with little sort of grayish white text on it. It's amazing to think how long I spent immersed in that.
That's good stuff.
Today's kids today, they don't know what they got.
I know you don't like Prodigy, but
I actually don't have anything against Prodigy.
The first vacation I ever planned on my own was I used information via Prodigy, like that I discovered through one of their their bulletin board, the equivalent of their bulletin board. I forget what they called them, but and it was because Michelle and I we were in college and we went to Amelia Island, Florida, and it would have been I don't remember 92, 1992, I think. I'm thinking summer. Anyway, and so I used, and I learned. That's how I didn't have a travel book or anything. I just learned about oh, this is a cool place to stay, or this is a cool place to stay, and then you would pick up the phone. I had no pictures or anything. Just heard about these places, and then I pick up the phone and call the place. And like, hey, do you have a room for these nights? And I go, yeah, and then you show up and you hope.
Yeah. It's crazy to think about just how little information we had about everything at that point.
There was no Google Earth or even Google Street View. Oh my gosh! Right. Can you imagine Google Street View? Or
your best hope is to go to like Barnes and Noble and get a travel book for Florida and
that was
hope
like 8 years
was
old.
In it.
That's like right.
You get the whatever the what's the name of the company that I think they start with a G, Grommers or something like that.
Oh yeah, I was a Lonely Planet. I liked Lonely Planet a lot.
Oh yeah. I know the Birnbaum's guides to Disney World were always really good. Did they do other things too?
I didn't really like them.
I liked the design of them. They had a really easy to read tables and stuff. Yeah. I liked how they were square and they were basically a stack of paper glued on one side. That was really cool.
My mother's cleaning out her garage, after this move, because she's got these boxes to go through, and she keeps discovering things that she thinks I'll want, and they turn out to be like, I always tell her, like, if you discover any interesting Disney stuff, of course, let me know, right? Or Star Wars,
yeah,
or like old Playboys or something, and
that's what you want to ask your mom about.
I mean, she couldn't discover it. It's already too late. So
might as well give it to me, Mom. I guess. I don't know.
I'll throw these away for you.
Let me take care of that.
I thought I left this one in the woods.
Hey, it's Vanna White. Look at that. Remember when she posted Playboy? Anyway,
no, I don't remember. Interesting.
Well, she did.
Okay.
Can I buy a vowel? I don't know.
just gonna move on.
Probably best.
And she brings me like, look what I found. She gets all excited. Oh, look what I found. And I'm like, what did you find? And I look at it. She's like, look. And it's these like brochures and maps and stuff. I'm like, Mom, these are like from 8 years ago. Like these are
what a time capsule.
When you went to Disney with my brother. Like, I don't want these. Like I don't need these. Like this is not useful to me.
Kali River Rapids, remember that?
and I told her, like, look, we're shooting for 80s or earlier. Right. So like if you anything, I don't need anything of the other stuff. That's the stuff I really like. The old stuff. Yeah. I love.
My grandmother's got a lot of that stuff. She is an obsessive sort of archivist, and she's got like from our first trip, she's got listed like what everything cost. We've got brochures from all the places. That was the year because that was.
You should get those from her when she's not looking.
Well, I almost don't trust myself with those. That. She's doing really good with that, and I don't want to mess it up. But that was the very first sort of calendar year that Epcot was open because we. What?
I'm just
I may have missed something.
I'm just imagining your grandmother. Oh, that's your grandmother we were talking about, right?
Yes.
Yeah, imagine your grandmother's a perfectly nice woman.
Yes.
Just like organizing her catalog, organizing her card system, and then like coming like. Realizing
wait, 83 is gone.
She doesn't have the 83 Magic Kingdom brochure or the Vacation Kingdom like catalog, and she's like, and then you get that like wide angle shot like from above, like she's like, "Damn you, Marcus! Damn you to hell!"
I would pay money to hear my grandmother say that.
That's what I was imagining. She would instantly know, like. Rah!
Somebody's gonna raid the ancient Disney stuff. It would be me, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But yeah, we like our first year was 83, right? And so Epcot was open in 82 in October. So in the summer of 83, it was just the first year of its being open, and it was that really cool. Like it had to be like prohibitively expensive to keep doing it this way, but it was a map of Epcot that had a little spinny wheel thing, and you could spin it around to the different pavilions,
like
and
then
it would tell you a little
kind of thing.
Well, it was like the map was just like a big square, and I think it had a flap over it, and you lifted it up, and then under there, it's one of those things where like. You got a little sort of cog wheel thing that you can move with your finger, and then like little information things would go through, and you'd see in windows like this is what is generating into imagination, and this is
That's
what
cool.
is because Horizons and Living Seas wasn't there yet, and what
Living
else?
Seas wasn't there yet?
No,
When
Living
did that
Seas.
come? Oh yeah, that's right.
Horizons came before Living Seas.
About how that came. That came later. It was definitely there by 86.
Oh yeah. Because it was on the. I think it was on the map. I know that Horizons as the pavilion was drawn on the map, and then like where Living Seas was going to be, it would be like the Living Seas coming in whatever 85 or whatever,
and then the Dead Seas. Palestine.
That's a very different sea. Very salty in that sea, but yeah, like Horizons wasn't there. It was being built. You could see it. And Journey into Imagination, the ride part wasn't running yet. The Magic Eye Theater was open. Yeah, that would have been awesome. But yeah, the Magic Eye Theater, you could watch Magic Journeys over there.
Oh, that's cool.
But the actual ride part wasn't there, wasn't open yet. So it's kind of crazy. There's no Norway, there's no Morocco.
Have you ever played Herskadoo?
Herskadoo? Mm-hmm. I've heard of the band Husker Du.
Is there a band called Herskadoo?
I guess so. I guess that would be how you pronounce it. Well, it's Huskerdu. And I think the U has an umlaut, so it could be that it's husker-du.
Hold on.
Husker-du.
I'll be right back.
Okay. I don't think he's coming back. I think this is a prank. Yeah, that's it. Wait, those are long bars over those U's. Husker-du.
Look at this.
So where the child may outwit the adult.
You can hear like the things.
Yeah, something's rattling around in there. Do you remember?
The sideburn. Look at the sideburns on this dude.
Oh, yeah. I'm liking that.
Yeah, it says it's Husker-du. That's it. Husker-du. Do you remember? It's the memory game with no language barrier, and it's it's Danish. It's a Danish board game. But you have these little like it's this board, and you cover up the board up with like these little, I don't know, images or like not images. You cover up with like little discs or something, and then it's like a memory game, but things move.
That does increase the difficulty of it.
Yeah, because there's a wheel that you spin this wheel that moves like all the images underneath.
Wow.
So then you have to kind of, I don't know how, it's been a while. My mother, she found this. So like, I snagged it from her. She's looking for it, I'm sure, right now. She doesn't know. But I'm going to, I think we should play this.
Right now?
No, not now. But like, I think
I don't know that would make a very interesting podcast.
Although now,
but yes, there is a band, Husker-du.
So hold on a second.
And I hear they're very good. I don't know anything about their work though. Yeah.
We got a problem. Two problems. We have two problems. Number one problem is that I was hold on. My computer was telling me that I'm having internet issues, but I'm going to see about that.
You did kind of squiggle out a little bit there, but...
Well, the good news is that because the way we do this, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
But, okay, I think we should be okay now. Am I okay? Can you see me?
You seem okay.
Okay.
You see,
no.
you have...
Okay, the box must fell over. Okay, so I was always told that this was a Danish game.
Mm-hmm. Are you finding any confirmation of this? Danish origins may be in doubt.
See, this is why when it's in the whole great mystery thing in the year, remember all of that stuff? Like I was kind of like a little incredulous about my mother being right about things.
Right, yeah.
Like,
is this doubt creeping back in? Are you going to have to relearn this lesson?
Well, according to the box, it says made by Regina Products, the P.O. Box of Boulder, Colorado.
Well, okay. So that
doesn't necessarily mean it's not of Danish origins.
True.
So like our family, her side of the family is Danish. At least her mother's side. Sorry, it's like I have it balanced on my bag underneath the desk. So I'm afraid if it falls over. Now I'm sitting here with great anxiety. It's like the sword of Damocles, but like reversed because it's like below me, and it's I'm like waiting for it to fall over, and all the like little discs just sort of come tumbling out and making all this noise. Anyway.
So an interesting thing about Husker-du, I'm on the internet science site here, the Wikipedia. The American version of the board game, and they don't mention any other versions up to this point, so that's a weird distinction to make. Because I don't see anything about Danish or anything, and it says it is a memory.
But thou doth protest
right. Husker-du is a memory game that can be played by children and adults, published in the United States in the 1950s, it says. But this is very interesting. A notorious advertisement for the game that aired during the 1973 Christmas season featured subliminal cuts with the phrase "Get it." Even though subliminal messages are commonly believed to be ineffective, the FCC received complaints about the ad and issued a public notice calling subliminal advertising, quote, deceptive and contrary to the public interest.
Really?
The Premium Corporation of America voluntarily removed the commercial from the air, claiming that the subliminal message was inserted by a misguided employee.
Come on.
So that's pretty crazy. Another early ad featured a voiceover by professional wrestling announcer Mean Gene Okerlund.
Come on.
God rest his soul.
That can't be real.
As in, Husker Du, though, is in fact Danish.
Oh.
And is coincidentally Norwegian for Do You Remember?
The words. The words or the game? Okay.
The words. So I guess, maybe that's the genesis of this game is Danish.
So it's probably invented by some Danish American.
I would think so, because why would they name it that otherwise?
Yeah.
It seems a little arbitrary to go. Let's make a memory game, and I don't know, let's call it something in Danish.
And I can understand then why they would think it was Danish.
It's very foreign looking.
Because if you're walking through Toys R Us, whatever the equivalent of Toys R Us was in the 1950s, and you saw that
Toys R Us, my boy. I don't know.
Husker Du, you're like, oh look, it's a game that's in Danish.
Let's get that just based on that alone. I want to play something that Danish people play.
Well, I mean, because if I imagine it's like my grandmother or my great grandmother who's buying this game, that's really where it came from. I don't know if this version did. I didn't. What did I say the year was?
I don't know.
This is 1970.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, 50s it says is when it's originated.
This is definitely in our future, by the way.
Playing some Husker Du?
Oh, yeah.
Do you Husker Du? Seems like that should have been their ad.
It probably was. We probably can find it on YouTube. Danish YouTube.
DoTube? I don't know.
Oh boy! So I'm gonna the only other thing I have anxiety about with Alex going to college, is us rooming together before he moves in.
Mm-hmm. With him?
No, we've traveled before, obviously as a family together.
Sure.
Before whatever, but we well, it'll probably be fine. It's more traveling with other people.
Mm-hmm.
I think traveling with him's fine. Traveling with other people is I just don't like. Rooming with other people is problematic.
Right. Yeah.
It should be fine. I know people. So I'm not gonna. I'm like gonna protect the innocent here, but or not so innocent as it may be. Like I know people. Like I know colleagues who will and women typically who will room together in large numbers. Like I guess to save money or whatever.
Right.
But they don't need to save the money because
But something seems to indicate that they actually enjoy this.
Right. Okay.
Which I would not. Yeah.
Whatever. Maybe it's like a slumber party or something. I don't know. But then there was this group recently. By recently, I mean almost a year ago. Who they roomed together, but one of the it was a couple, so man and woman married, and then this other add-on woman.
Oh.
And that's
like 5 pounds of awkward in a 1 pound bag.
It was like, if I was that guy, and I know him, I don't know him well enough, and he's like a generation older, so I don't know well enough to say really, what was he?
How was that?
Why? Well, what? Really?
Yeah.
Because I don't like that I don't know, I like just being me.
Right. Yeah.
It's not like I walk around with no clothes on or anything, but it's like I like to just be able to not have to worry about anyone else.
Right.
Like, is the temperature okay? Is it okay if I have the TV on? Or can we just keep the TV off? I'd like to not have the television on, please. Mm-hmm. No hotels put fans in the bathrooms anymore for whatever reason. I don't understand who decided that was a good cost-saving measure.
No
you know what?
Kidding,
I'll tell you what.
Man, we got a whole show about this.
Keep your hand lotion. Okay, keep your hand lotion, and give me a fan in the bathroom. Can we just make that exchange, please? Yep. Like, just please, because
a DC-9 fan. I mean, the louder the better.
It's a small space, man, and I can't. What am I gonna do? I can't light a candle. I can't my family's right there.
And have you heard the acoustics in those rooms? There's some reverb going on in there.
But even doesn't matter. I have to tell them to stay in the hallway.
Right.
Can't deal with this. Fans, people.
Yep.
The Grand Californian, Walt Disney, Disneyland Grand Californian concierge level. Mm-hmm. $1,200 a night. Craziness. Really nice breakfast, actually.
I would hope.
Still, no fan in the bathroom.
Hear a pin drop.
I mean, it's just insane. Doesn't make any sense. Anyway, there's stuff like that, that
yeah.
I like to, and then I have my other issues.
Do tell.
Well, I don't like any. It's not even a matter of saying I don't like. I can't have any light.
Like when you sleep?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I in the old, I mean, I still do this, but before I started traveling with the sleeping mask thing, mm-hmm. I always until the past 2 years, the only time I ever remember seeing somebody who actually used a sleeping mask was even old time movies or something, or
right, yeah.
That guy on the Partridge Family who was I feel like we've talked about him before. Why is it we've talked about the Partridge Family?
I don't remember us talking about the Partridge Family.
It's maybe
talking about Gilligan.
Dude, the guy who was the agent for the Partridge Family, I remember he would sleep with the sleep mask on. And it
was always it seemed to be sort of the fussy thing or whatever, or the decadent thing.
And this annoying redheaded kid would always bother him and wake him up and stuff. Anyway, I can't have any light. So what I would, and when I say any light, I mean I unplug the alarm clock.
Really? If a single photon hits your head.
For two reasons. One,
wide awake.
Because you can't, sometimes you can dim them all the way so they actually don't give off any light. But then I have this anxiety that I didn't check it well enough to make sure that the alarm that somebody else set before.
Oh God, that's the worst.
Because I have had that happen at least just one time. It only takes one time.
Yeah, it really does.
Once that happens, I want to chuck it out the window. So I unplug.
Because you haven't studied it, because you're not anticipating it going off. So you have no idea how to turn it off once it does start going off.
Right. And I just don't want it to happen, so I unplug it. Yeah, also, I usually need the outlet because they don't give you many outlets.
Amen.
So I have to use them. Sorry, but alarm clock, you've lost.
Yes.
You lost.
I got a clock on my phone.
Then I take a towel. And I lay it down across the floor at the door.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because the light creeps in under the door. I also feel like it makes me safer because if there's ever smoke in the hallway or something, then I've already taken that step.
Okay.
Where they say you put a towel down.
It won't wake you up, so you'll sleep peacefully through the fire.
I'm sure the alarms will go off, and I'll be like, the towel. Look at that. It's not wet. This thing's supposed to be wet, but anyway.
That gets really gross. It's dirt down there. And
can you imagine,
hotels are notoriously dirty places.
Can you imagine the room attendant every day Like, why is this
I'm going to push past this towel on the ground.
No. I'm conscientious enough. And also a little, I don't want to be embarrassed. Like, so I do not leave a towel by the front door. Okay. Like, that's just weird, right? I know it's weird that I do it.
That would be too weird.
I know it's like, it's not, I don't know what's worse. Like, it's not that I feel like I wouldn't be able, like, they wouldn't be able to imagine it. Like, they wouldn't be able to rationalize it. Like, Like, they wouldn't, like, their brains just wouldn't be creative enough, or maybe just generous enough to think that like, oh, I get it. Like, he uses this towel at the bottom of the door to keep the light from coming in. And also, by the way, it helps if there's ever smoke. No, they're not going to think that. They're going to think, why? This guy's
weirdo doing
like, why does he leave his towel over here? Like, that's just weird.
Why is it soaking
every
wet?
day? No, it's not wet.
What is he doing?
Wet. It's not wet. All right. So then I take this, and it's the same towel. So I'll take the towel, and that's the towel I'll hang up like on the back of the door, whatever. So they never touch it. So I don't have to like. It's like, it's not like unnecessarily laundered or or anything.
And it's also like kind of out of mind, right? Because if they open the door and it's on the back of the door.
Oh no! I put it like in the bathroom on the back of the door.
Oh, the bathroom. Okay.
Yeah, so it's like way out. It's back in its proper territory. It's not like, what's this moose doing in Mexico? Like, no, it's not like that. It's like, yeah, I assume they don't have moose in Mexico. I don't really know.
I haven't researched this joke yet.
What is this llama doing in
There's somebody
Europe?
In Oaxaca right now going, what do you mean? It's surrounded by moose.
I don't get it.
It's like, there's wall to wall down here, man. What are you talking about? These guys don't know what the heck they're doing.
Oh boy! All right, so oh my goodness, so I have this towel down, right?
Mm-hmm.
It gets worse because if there's a peephole,
oh my god,
that doesn't have that doesn't have the little that doesn't. Well, most of the time they have like the little like swing, like hello, like a little. Can you imagine being the person the company who manufactures those little things, like
swingy people?
So, and covers. Explaining this at a cocktail party. So, what is it exactly that you do? Well, and then you're explaining this to somebody who's, oh, okay, so you make like hotel doors. Well, no, like where you look through the door. So you make peepholes. Well, not exactly. Like, so we make
a component.
We make the little. See, we make doors, but we make the door to the peephole.
Right. See, that's one of those professions.
Can you imagine that kid in school? Like, what does your father do for a living? Well, this.
I listen to this guy that does a lot of podcasts named Merlin Mann, and he talks about that. He used to be a productivity guru guy, and he says that when people would inevitably ask him what he did for a living, he's like, all right, I can sit here and try to explain it for 30 minutes, or I can just go, I'm in ceramics. He's found that nobody ever asks anything after that, and we can move on to the
if you ever said that to me, I'd say, have you ever made a ceramic Last Supper?
Yeah. Say, well, no, I made one out of chocolate one time. Some kid ate it. So if it doesn't have that little door, carefully handcrafted by that person, then I will have to take some tissue and stick it in the hole. Now, I will tell you, you and I are never rooming together.
I will tell you, I have no qualms with leaving that tissue in the peephole.
You don't mind what the maids think of you.
No, in fact, I hope that they write to their manager and their supervisors, say, we really should get those little doors, the little shutters, because this guy, he sticks this paper that, clearly it's bothersome.
If you think the guy that makes those things has a hard time describing what he does, imagine the guy that installs them. Little tiny screwdriver.
So I'm at the Ritz-Carlton.
Ooh.
In Maui.
Yikes. Okay.
Last year.
Maui
for a conference. Beautiful place. Beautiful room. Mm-hmm. Everything's great. Great. Even the blackout curtains are really good. Like, oh, that's another thing. I'll come back to the curtains. Even the blackout curtains are really good in this room. Like, it's like extra. It's like extra. So like you don't have to worry about that gap.
Right.
That happens. You're like,
and they try to do the thing with the little Velcro things, but that doesn't work. There's just a little bow, and you get this sort of snake eye beam of light coming through there between the Velcro things.
I have a trick. I'll give you my trick in a second. So
black paint around with it.
I pull out my black crayon. I knew you'd come in handy. Anyway, so I'm laying. It's like it's time to go to sleep. I have my sound machine going on my phone. The noise going on the white because I like play white noise too.
Wow.
Oh my God, I'm so... when you have to explain it...
Until you lay it all out on paper.
It's so bad.
Seems all normal, but now...
Oh my goodness. I may have a problem. All right, so...
You might.
I gotta recover from this. Okay. So, I'm laying there in bed, and in the Ritz-Carlton.
Uh-huh.
And I was upgraded. Like they upgraded me for some reason. They probably ran out of rooms at the convention rate or something. Anyway, so I got upgraded. And I'm laying there, and my eyes are closed. And have you ever been like drifting off to sleep and you think you see like a flash of something or like something?
Yeah.
And you just whatever. He just goes back to sleep.
Yeah, you figure some neuron went stupid. And...
Right. Well, it happens again. It happens again. Like, what the heck? Why? What is... And I'm looking around and I'm waiting for it. And it's not frequent.
Right, I hate that.
So I go back to sleep. Or try to go back to sleep, and there's a flash again. What is happening?
Right.
Turns out, the smoke detector, or fire detector, whatever, like it's in the ceiling. It's unreachable.
Of course.
Is like every 1 minute flashing.
Oh man.
A green light, not a red light. A green light. Right above the bed.
Letting you know everything's fine.
And I'm like...
Just in case you were wondering.
I've done all the things. I have toweled the door. I didn't even have to stuff the thing because it's for the Ritz-Carlton.
The Ritz-Carlton.
The blackout curtains are luxurious.
Mm-hmm.
Ample.
And those deluxe blinky lights on the fire detector.
And so then I pulled out my sleeping mask, and I just mumbled something mean as I drifted off to sleep. Like, I cannot believe I have to use this in the freaking Ritz-Carlton. Like, I shouldn't have to use this. This is crazy.
Did we complain to management about this?
No, I don't do that. You know me. Just take it.
Seems like a guy that would stuff toilet paper in the peephole might be fussy enough to talk to management about the flashing green light on the smoke detector.
I use the Kleenex. I use the Kleenex. It's a higher quality tissue. It's easier to retrieve when you
it's
need
much
to pull
more light absorbent.
And so the trick because I know you care about this. The trick
very much
with the blackout curtains is that you it's actually okay, so it has to be at least like, it can't be like a motel probably, but like it has to be a place that has hangers that you can take off the thing. So if it's a place where like, actually it probably would, no, if it's a place where you can't bring the hanger off the thing at all, you're out of luck.
But it'll probably be those kind that have the permanently on rings, and it's like just the little post that you hang into the ring.
That's right? Okay.
Because as long as you can remove it, It doesn't need the hook part.
That's correct, right? So then but when you want the one that has the little clippy clips on it.
Right, yeah. No, I know this trick. Yeah, it's a very, very good trick.
And then you use the clippy clips to
hold
clip
the curtains together.
The curtains together.
That is a fantastic trick.
So I did this in the hotel room when I was traveling to California some point in the past year. And do you know that the room service person, or not room service, but the room attendant, whatever, I don't know what you call them.
Yeah. Housekeeping.
I think, yeah. That's right. The word that's posted everywhere.
The room cleaner upper person.
That thing that's a big, let's just call it.
The person, they got the cart, and then they do the thing with that machine that sucks air and dirt. That thing.
See, if it wasn't, maybe I'd remember more names if it wasn't for these green blinking lights.
So and they pull in items in your brain.
Yeah, but they removed it.
They put this guy.
I'm like,
so why would you think I want to look out this window? The light comes in.
You didn't move my luggage.
Yeah.
You didn't change the order of my clothes in the closet.
Right.
You didn't move the remote control that I left because I didn't even use the
put the TV on the other wall.
You didn't take the towel off the hook.
Yeah, you didn't take the toilet paper out of the door.
There I had a little shutter.
Oh yeah, right.
Why would you think I didn't?
Yeah,
come on.
I'm paying money for this to be my place.
You didn't plug the alarm clock back in. They didn't plug the. Did they think maybe
didn't change the battery on the frickin' smoke detector?
Maybe why? So this was not at the Ritz that this happened. This was actually this is a different place. But because the Ritz, remember the Ritz had luxurious blackout curtains. It was lovely.
Right, yeah.
Ample, but yeah. So I do that, and then I use my phone for white noise. Actually, at home, I'll use the Alexa device.
Yeah, there's some good ones on there.
I say play
ocean sounds.
Play heavy rain sounds. That's what I say.
That's a good one.
Yeah. And I remember that one. That was a good one. Yes. Play 1969 heavy rain sound.
The shore of the Cuyahoga River. 1980.
Oh, it was a hot tin
roof. 7 or 8. 8 was a better year for seagulls.
August 1971 on a hot tin roof, please.
I remember.
That would be pretty awesome, though, wouldn't it? If you could say, "Oh, we got to do that. Maybe we should make this." Can you imagine? So this gift, one of the I consider to be one of the better gifts I got from Michelle, is this it was for I don't know if I got it for Christmas or an anniversary gift, but it was this star map, and it's of the night sky. You've seen, and it's from the night we met.
I've seen the night sky. Yeah.
It's like the night sky as it appeared the night in this very specific location, geographic location, that
cool.
kind of thing. So it's cool, right? It's
yeah.
Boy, can you imagine though if there was a sounds equivalent of that?
Yeah. I
don't know how you do
pinpoint a place on Earth and what did this sound like?
But you could do it it wouldn't be the exact sound, but it would be you would know whether it was raining. You would know depending on what where it was. Are there
sort of a level of urbanness maybe to it.
Yeah, that. Even the type of cars going by, not drifting.
Yeah, what's that? Yeah,
mixing.
Different eras would have different sounds. Yeah. You could conceivably do that. Yeah.
Wouldn't that be kind of fun? You know what?
Is it close to a river? Maybe fade in a little river sounds.
Right. It could just even be based on it could just simplify it. It could be based on Carousel of Progress.
Based on
I want to hear, give me the turn of the century summer evening.
Oh, okay, yeah.
As compared to 1950s, when they were doing the rat race.
They got the rat race now. Yeah,
we're doing this thing called commuting.
Fellow rats.
That's right.
I feel so bad for that dude's wife. She's constantly working her butt off, and he's just kind of sitting around going, "Yeah, well, Sucks to be a woman.
It's just like,
good Lord.
This paint mixing contraption you make. He basically ruined her mixer.
Now,
her mixmaster. Like,
now, honey.
Honey, you get back to work.
Didn't I screw up your KitchenAid?
Enough jibber jabber. And then she like basically falls off a ladder.
Yeah, and he's like, she's like,
she's such a good sense of humor. She's going to kill
nice,
you in your
hard
sleep.
cranial structure.
Or then when he invites everybody, for the whole audience to come see his daughter as she's getting dressed for
right. Just throw open the doors there. Now, granted, it's kind of funny that
Father, I'm indecent or something. And then he says, "Oh, these are friends." Like, well, this is just like one step away from. Oh, come on, give your uncle a hug. Like, maybe we shouldn't. We had to lose. So we had to lose. We had to lose Red. We had to lose in Pirates. Like we had to lose the scene.
Oh, right, yeah, right. Yeah.
But
apparently this is fine. Yeah. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, and I imagine a friend of the show, Lou Mangello, is listening to this, which probably is not.
I hope not. I really hope. I'm so sorry.
But the dog used to be different in each era.
Really?
Yeah, he had a different name in the first scene, and the second scene, and the third scene. That would make
sense because it wouldn't be the
exactly
right.
But I mean,
not that the person could live that long either.
Right, exactly. These people, this is a family of immortals. Yeah. But I remember, and the dog's name was the same between the third scene and the final scene, and I always thought, I guess dog life expectancy got better as we progressed through the years.
Cloning.
It could be that. But yeah, I was at some point they started going, you know what? That's pretty much implying that at least 2 dogs have died during the course of this show. So it may be better if we go ahead and make the dog immortal too.
I remember feeling that way watching Downton Abbey.
What about the dogs?
Well, yeah, it's like supposedly the same dog. But like, there's
no
boxer
possible or whatever that
way. The dog is like a metaphor. You know, the dog, it can't possibly be the same dog given the length of the number of years that
this is between the show and the movie? Or
no, I mean across the entire
show?
Series. In fact, in the opening, like the opening credits of the show,
he's walking the dog around.
Right, and then the dog's always around.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it doesn't make an appearance in every show, but like many episodes in every season, and it's the same yellow lab. I mean, it has the same name.
Uh-huh.
But dogs do look different from season to season because, of course they do, because it's not the same dog.
They just sort of steadfastly named it the same thing over and over again.
That's weird. No, because like in the last season, and spoiler alert, I'm like, this shouldn't be that shocking to anybody. Sorry,
the aliens invade.
The dog does die, like of natural causes, of old age,
of extreme old age.
Like finally, after
his dog
how many
was
years
guarding the Holy Grail, and now he's.
I mean, come on. Now maybe maybe I'm getting my Downton Abbey years wrong, but. Someone will correct this, I'm sure.
Yeah, I don't remember what the span is technically. I mean, World War II.
That is a show I could go back and watch again. That's a show I could go back and watch again, I think. Maybe. Although I get so stressful by like season 3. I don't know. I got to watch this Cobra Kai thing.
Yeah, you do.
So
good stuff.
All right. Well, I should go start packing.
Make sure you pack the toilet paper for that people.
I should pack Herskadoo.
Yeah,
Husker.
Nothing brings a father and son together.
Can you imagine that?
Danish game from the 70s.
It'd be so great. He's like sitting there with his friends and like, hey guys,
want to play some Huskerdoo?
Do you Huskerdoo? They're like,
it's Danish.
To Alex, your dad. And he'd be like, you think that's a problem? Have you looked at the people?
You've seen the soaking wet towel.
It's not wet. Yet.